This show is produced by the Harwood Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris, and we love making this show available to you free of charge. If you'd like to help us keep it that way, make a contribution to our Karma Jar. For more information, visit our website. Tonight I've made these delicious seared scallops, and I did it in my Alfresco Imports beehive oven. I'm having so much fun cooking in that oven. I did want to show you though a new thing. You'll notice it here on the screen. I've got our QR code, and that is for the recipe for this dish. So if you wanted to see exactly what's going on with this dish as I'm making it, just put your smartphone up to that QR code and you can follow along with me. Well, these seared scallops are great. They only took 4 minutes in the wood oven, and they're delicious as either a main course or you could serve them as a first course. Now for this dish I have about a pound of scallops, and these are kind of a medium-sized scallop. They were actually frozen. I let them defrost in the refrigerator. But before I do sear them, I want to make sure to get them fairly dry. So you can see I put them on a paper towel here, and it's already wicking up some of the moisture. I'm going to take some more paper towel and just kind of blot the top off. When you are searing something, it's good to have the meat or the fish as dry as you can. And then I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on top. Then I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm going to get my garlic butter ready. Now I'm going to be making sort of like a compound butter. I have 4 tablespoons of butter that I just let get soft. I'm going to put this in a bowl. Now you can see it's not melted or anything, but it's just nice and soft. It'll be easy for me to mix the garlic and other ingredients in. And to that I have 1 clove of garlic that I'm going to mince. And then I have a lemon that I got out of the garden. I'm going to take the zest off of it and put that in. And then just a pinch of red pepper flakes. And then I'll use the back of my spoon to mix those ingredients. Compound butters are used a lot in fish and seafood dishes, and the reason is that you can add all these wonderful aromatics to the butter, and when you're cooking something like this at a really high heat, you wouldn't want this to be in the pan because it would burn. So that's why we're making the compound butter, and we'll add that last. Now before we go out to the wood oven and start cooking, I did want to show you the pan that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be cooking this at a very high heat, so you have to be sure that you're using a pan that can tolerate that heat, and that today is going to be this cast iron pan. Now I really like this pan. It doesn't weigh too much, but it takes the heat really well. So let's go out to the wood oven and we'll sear up these scallops. Now I'm going to get to show you the falling oven principle in action. If you happen to have watched my Daily Bread episode where I made the Tuscan flatbread, I baked that also in my Alfresco Imports beehive oven. And when I went to start baking that bread, I wanted the edge of the fire to be about 850 degrees. Well, the falling oven principle says that you start cooking at your highest temperature, and then you let the temperature start to fall. And for these scallops, I need it to be about 650 degrees. So you've taken the temperature with my infrared thermometer, and once it gets to this temperature, I'm going to take my cast iron pan and tuck it in there and leave it in the oven for 5 minutes to get nice and hot. If you're using your stove, turn it up to medium-high and let your pan sit on there for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then once the pan is really hot, I'm going to pull it out of the oven or take it off the stove for just a second and put about a half a tablespoon of some olive oil in it. Because now the pan is really hot. I wouldn't have wanted the olive oil to be in there all that time. But then leave the pan on the stove or on the edge of the oven like this for about 30 seconds more. Using my tongs, I'm going to put the scallops into the pan now, and as they hit it, you should really hear them sizzle. Then I'm going to push them into the oven and let them cook for about 2 minutes. Then after the 2 minutes, I'm going to use my tongs and I'm going to toss them around, and you see we're getting some nice browning on the scallops, which is just what I want. And then I'm going to move them all onto one side of the pan, the side closest to the fire, and let them sit for another 2 minutes. Now I'm going to take and lift the pan up, and I'm going to count to about 5 seconds. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to brown the top just a little bit more. And I'm just going to keep doing this. You only have to do it a couple of times because that heat is so intense higher up in the oven, but it does give us this wonderful caramelized color on the scallops. Now as I bring this in, you do want to make sure you have a wooden trivet because this pan is so hot. And I'm going to set that down, and then I have my compound butter that I'm going to put on the top. And then as I move that around, it's going to melt instantly, making this delicious sauce for the scallops. And then the last thing I like to do is either get some chopped parsley, or today I'm using some chopped chive from the garden just to sprinkle on top. That green makes it look really nice. Now I'd like to thank my friends at Alfresco Imports Beehive Oven for making it possible for me to show you how to make these delicious seared scallops. And if you'd like the recipe, just go to our website and go to the Easy Entertaining show notes, and I'll have the recipe there for you. Don't forget to join us on Facebook. That's where I do all my vlogging. And as always, if you have any ideas or questions for me, please send me an email. I'll see you next time.